What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Co-op Campaign. My name is Zach,
I'm Indy, also known as Another Gamer.
and this is a podcast we decided to start like every other person did because we're kind of stuck at home right now.
Pretty much.
But also, it's really just nice to see another friend, like even if
It
it's
is.
virtually.
It is. It's nice to even just talk to each other since we haven't done so in so long.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've been friends for a while. We've been friends since college back in like 2013, I want to say.
I think so. I started college in 2010, and 2010 is when I first started college. But I was in a different program at first. I was in a computer programming course. Didn't like that, so I switched over to video game design. So I
Well,
know a lot about video games.
it's funny because between the two of us, we did the math earlier when we tried recording, and I messed up. And we've got like 40, almost 50 years of gaming between us. I'm 28, you're 28 also, right? Or
I'll
28?
be 28 in let's see, 10 days.
10 days, okay. So yeah, we've both been playing video games. Like one of my first memories is me sitting in the back of my parents' van going to Toronto from Montreal playing Pokemon Yellow on a Game Boy Color.
Yeah, I do remember doing that as well, but not going to Montreal. Obviously, I went to the cottage. It's a 3 hour drive up into the middle of Ontario there. But my first memories is probably playing the Super Nintendo. So I think it would have been Super Mario All Stars was my very first game memory. Just because I can do it off by a heart how to get to the last world in Mario 3, uh, as in where to get the both whistles, where and then when to use both whistles, and how to get to the end level. Oh, right the fuck away.
No, it's see, I have memories playing games and they were a lot harder when I was like 4 or 5 than they are now that I'm 28. Like I
Uh,
did an emulation of Donkey Kong 64 because I don't want to try and buy an N64 right now.
yeah, that's and buy the cartridge. It's
Oh
also
yes, and
rare.
buy a working cartridge. That's going on just about 20 years.
Yeah,
15, 20.
here's the thing. Cartridges last a long time. Like my cartridges for my Super Nintendo still work.
Wow, that okay. Super Nintendo was released like early 90s, right?
Yep, very early 90s, and I have an original Super Nintendo that's in really good condition. And if you know about the Super Nintendo, it tends to yellow over time if you leave it near any sun. That's it's something to do with the plastic
Right.
in it. So it just decided to yellow. It decides to yellow. Um, Mine didn't because I decided I'm going to do that. I'm going to put it in a nice little cubby hole for it. And it still works to this day. I just have to find the other connectors to
Yeah,
it so
that's
I can.
that's very
Yeah,
impressive though. The fact that you've kept it going for that long.
yeah, it's one of those things where I'm like, it's my very first game console, and I love it.
Yeah, no, I think my very first was the N64, and my baby cousin crushed it with his foot when he decided
Oh
to jump
no!
on it because he thought the cartridge wasn't in the full way.
Oh,
We still talk now, but I was pretty pissed back then.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Kind of reasonable though, right?
yeah. I will say this: that I think my cousins for my gaming addiction because they had every console, like all the way up
Oh,
until the modern era. They had every console. They had the Super Nintendo. They had the original Nintendo. They had the Atari 2600. They had the Genesis. They had all the classic ones. So
right.
where my addiction came from was right from them.
Okay.
I remember playing Sonic. I remember playing Streets of Rage. I remember playing the original Mario, the original Nintendo, and I also remember playing Duck Hunt.
I have vague memories of playing Duck Hunt on my friend's console. I never owned the Super Nintendo,
Yeah.
but I do remember like my buddy had like the gun, had everything, and
Oh
I
yeah, the
realized
Super
my game
Scope.
was
We never had that. That was the
oh
one thing that they didn't have. It's a giant. For those who don't know, the Super Scope is basically a bazooka. Think of it as a light gun, but it's a bazooka. It's awesome, but it's also one of the most unwieldy peripherals because it requires so many batteries, and my parents were like, "Yeah, we're not getting that."
At least there was no kickback with it. Could you imagine like a 6-year-old kid trying to aim for the duck and then he just goes flying back when he pulls the trigger?
If you think that peripheral is insane, you should see the Magnavox Odyssey gun. It is
I
an
never saw
actual
that.
shotgun. It is an actual like it looks like an actual shotgun. Like it's not even playing around. It's uh,
Jeez.
for those who don't know, honestly, the Angry Video Game Nerd. He did a whole whack of these videos. This is where a lot of my knowledge comes from some of these older consoles, just because we never played them, including like Pong consoles and all that stuff, and they made a billion of those. So,
Yup. No, and
anyways,
now like the whole market is just like, especially now, it's literally just doing remakes of games.
yeah, remake. Yeah, they're doing remakes, but that's not a bad thing,
No, and they're
considering
doing it
that.
right because there's been like there's a difference though between like remasters and remakes. Like the
Well,
Halo
there's
series coming out right now is being remastered.
yeah, it's remastered, but it's not being. Well, technically, it is being remade in a new engine because of technical aspects.
That's true.
The original Halo games were only designed for the Xbox and the Xbox 360.
Yeah.
They were not, and the Xbone. So
And I'm
I'm
saying
calling
there's.
it the Xbone because that's how it's sometimes labeled. It's the Xbone.
Yup.
So they were originally only designed for that. There were ports of Halo 1 and Halo 2 for PC previously. Yeah, Halo 1 way back in the day. It's not available anymore because of Master Chief Collection and on PC, but I do
Yeah.
have memories playing back in college, playing the original Halo on PC. The Halo 2 on PC was a little bit more controversial. That one was a hey, it's coming out for a PC, but it's only available for Windows Vista, period.
And that was their first mistake.
That was their first mistake.
This is
But,
the one we just don't talk about it anymore.
well, it was one of those things where people, well, here's the thing. When it comes to PC games, people will find ways to work around it and they will take it back. They will go, nope, nope, we're going to make it available for everyone. We're going to make a crack and we're going to do it because the internet is just that way.
Yup. Which is really impressive too when you think about it. There's these guys that spend like thousands and thousands of hours designing it for a specific console or for a specific engine. And then there's just like some hacker online who's like, well, now it's available on Mac and Linux.
Yep, and if you want to know why we've been having the new Halo Master Chief Collection on PC, you can actually thank Russia.
Really?
Yeah, because there is a Russian-only version of Halo 3 multiplayer that is legally available in Russia and only in Russia called Halo Online.
Okay.
I think I just lost you there.
No, I'm still here. You still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay,
Sorry.
perfect.
Yeah.
No, it's
Hey.
it's ridiculous though. Like one little thing like that spurs a whole like remake, and it's funny because I've been playing the Halo Master Chief Collection, like the
Yeah.
remastered, and on
Oh, yeah, same here.
PC if you hit by default the tab key, you can switch between the current graphics and the old school graphics.
Yeah, that's for that's for Halo 1, not for Halo 2.
Really?
Because Halo 2 is still using the same graphics. It's just updated textures.
Oh.
And Halo 3 will be the same way. It's literally just updated textures. It's not Halo 1 is the only one where they actually did a remake of it, but they gave you the option of seeing the original version.
Oh.
Just Yep. Unless they've changed it for the Halo 2, because I haven't really played the anniversary of Halo 2 yet.
They
But
might
I know
have. I mean, I haven't played that one too, but I will see what it ends up being.
yeah, I know that Blur Studios are the ones that did the remakes of the cutscenes. So
Right.
that's why they look so good. It is just because Blur Studios did it, and if you know Blur Studios, these are the same people who did the World of Warcraft. I think they even worked on the Warcraft movie.
Oh.
They did all the Star Wars, the Old Republic cutscenes too,
Right.
or trailers. They worked really hard They're so good. It looks so beautiful.
Yeah, no, they've done a really good job with that. And like, I think the biggest thing right now though is that Final Fantasy VII remake.
Yes, they haven't fully remade it yet. They've released a
No, it's.
part
I
one.
was gonna say yeah, it's technically not fully it, but like, see, I never played the original Final Fantasy VII, and my buddy
Yeah.
was like, "Yeah, here's the graphics comparison." Like, he sent me like a picture where it's like Cloud PS4 holding Cloud PS1's hand, and it's
Exactly.
like three times
But
the size.
here's another thing about the Final Fantasy VII remake. It is an actual like they are not doing a reskin. They're not updating it. They're not just making it like, oh hey, here's the old game with just updated graphics. No, they're updating the gameplay. They're changing a lot about it.
Yeah, they
The
are.
same
No.
story is there, but they've changed a lot because they want to update it for a modern audience. And I'm going, that's fine. I mean, I've never played the original Final Fantasy VII.
See,
I'll
neither
be
have I,
honest,
but like I want
but
to
that's
now.
because I didn't have a PS1.
Yeah.
Friends had the PlayStation 1.
See,
Yeah.
my friends had the PS1, but they had like Tony Hawk Pro Skater and
Speaking of
Crash
which,
Bandicoot. Yup. Yeah,
speaking of
just heard
which,
that
the
announcement.
just announced for the second time, Tony Hawk Pro Skater is being remade. It's so. Oh, what is it? What do you mean it's being remade for a second time? Well, there was an original one way back, a few years back, on the original Xbox, PS3, and I think it might have been released for PC. I can't really remember. Uh, but it was called Tony Hawk Pro Skater HD. It was released by Activision,
That
and it was
does
just
sound familiar.
yeah, they basically amalgamated and made it all the Tony Hawk Pro Skater games, including some from America, like not even the ones that are titled Pro Skater. They took some from American Wasteland and other game. Like it was just like a greatest hits of the Tony Hawk series,
Right.
just so that they can. And it was honestly a milk grab, but honestly, I didn't mind that because even though I'm like, hey, look, finally I get to play some Tony Hawk Pro Skater after so long. It
Yeah, and
it controlled the same, it played the same, it felt the same, but and I get the complaints about how everybody was seeing like, hey, it's not actually updated, it's not you can't customize characters, you can only use your or uh, your Xbox avatar or as your custom character. You couldn't really make your own. It didn't have all the songs. It was basically a half-ass remake.
yeah, see, that's the thing though, that there's been more effort in recent years to do a proper remake.
Because gamers like you and I have gotten higher standards. It's the mm-mm, we want this done right because we want to go back to our past and not play the shitty games that suck ass.
Exactly. Like I got to see the new Tony Hawk Pro Skater like remakes on Jack Black's gaming channel.
Yes, that's where they premiered it.
Yeah, that's and it looks fantastic. I
Oh
can't
yeah,
wait to wipe out hardcore because that's like
same.
all I did is even if I didn't land the trick, my favorite thing to do was just like eat absolute shit failing a trick.
Yeah, you might like the Skate games, or Skate 3 specifically, because there is a mode where you literally just break your body. It is literally
Really?
yes, there is
Like
just
you
a
get
mode where
points
you
for
can
that?
just yep. It's literally you just go and you jump off and you see what happens and you try to break as many bones in your body. It's hilarious.
Or wait, like you like heal up though when you go onto the skateboard next, right? Like you're not like
Yeah, it's
limping or
just like
like
a
holding your
it's
wrist.
it's more like a party mode kind of thing. So
Oh, kind of like, hey, you broke 5,000 bones. That's way more than the human body has. You win.
no, it's the how much like dollar amounts. How much
Oh,
like you just broke your bones. That's gonna cost us you $2,000 because America.
right. Canada
Sorry,
slap
America.
cat. No, but like, there are so many memes about like American healthcare and all kinds of stuff like that.
Yeah,
That it's nuts. Cause like here, we can go for a major heart surgery and just walk out and we pay more on our taxes.
yeah, that's true.
But in the States, you have like a major eye surgery. It's like, well, you can either give
There
us
goes
your
my house.
house. Yeah, I was gonna say, give over your house. Or if you happen to have like $500,000, we'll take that too.
Exactly. Sorry about that. I'm
No, it's
a little
okay.
thirsty.
No, all
Yeah.
good. But no, it's
Yeah.
just it's the whole.
Anyways, back on a little bit of topic here.
Yeah, no, we totally got off topic there for a second. No, but it's all good.
Yeah, it's
The,
all good. And like remakes are always a good thing in my opinion because I like seeing games that people have played in such a long time. Like a lot of these games that you just can't play anymore.
no,
Like,
you can't. Even on an emulator, it's
like
not the same.
yeah, exactly. Like in order to play the original Crash Bandicoot, for example, well, you have to go out and either or not so legally, get an emulator and then play it on your computer, or try and track down an original PlayStation One, then try and track down an original copy of the disc, is and then hope that the PS1 works, and also hope that the disc isn't scratched all hell.
Yeah, see, and that's part of the problem is you got to try and track that stuff down
Yeah,
because right now it's going to be nearly impossible to actually find that.
mhm.
And unless you go to a collector, but there's no way a collector is going to get rid of his console unless it's for a lot of money.
Yeah, like a lot of people think, oh, we're gonna have backwards compatibility. We're gonna always be able to play our games. It's like it's not feasible anymore. Or
No, and
it
even the
was
backwards compatibility that currently exists, like PlayStation Now, for instance,
yeah.
that's
And if you
basically
really
an
think about it,
emulator.
did we ever actually have backwards compatibility with the original consoles?
No.
You
No, you
couldn't
know, that's not
play.
true. PS2, you could play some PS1 games, but they have to be later PS1 games
Yeah,
towards the end of the
exactly.
PS1 life
That
cycle.
PS1, PS2. That's when it and the backwards compatibility started to come out. Oh, the but everybody thinks, oh, we always had backwards compatibility. We didn't start with it.
No,
It
like
think
that was
about
more
the
happy
original
accidents.
Nintendo and the original Super Nintendo. Oh, they you couldn't cross play those games. They were like like for example, you wanted to play the original Super Mario Brothers on Super Nintendo, you can't. Guess what you had to get? Super Mario Brothers All Stars, where it featured all of them, including the Japanese version of Super Mario Brothers 2.
Yeah, no, that's the thing is that the backwards compatibility, like, it's a very beautiful pipe dream. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, like I was talking to my buddy about it. My buddy, we both went to programming. We both went to a programming at our college for like our education. But this guy's like, look, you gotta understand, different engines deal with different chips. Like if you want to see like a remake right now, what they've got to do is they got to port it onto a more modern engine. Even if they don't update a damn thing, they got to port the whole game on from like whatever game engine they were using to like Unreal or Unity, and then
It's
release
exactly
that
what's happening with
for
the Halo
Xbox.
games.
That's exactly it. They're porting it, and because the studio has the money for it, they're touching up the graphics. Because, like for example, the remake of Final Fantasy VII must have taken them years up to this point to do.
They are. It's not. That's because they are making it from scratch. They are not.
Exactly.
They are not copying code. They are not doing anything different. They're doing everything different. They're changing it up because they have to. So, just because they're going, we can do better, and also because as they want to appeal to a more mass market. Yes, Final Fantasy VII is a very popular Japanese RPG, but for modern audiences, a lot of the combat's very slow.
It is, and that's the thing. Like when they released Final Fantasy 15, they gave you like real time combat for
Mm-hmm.
basically the first time in the series.
Yeah, and they're kind of trying to update it to that so that way you can kind of have it as a more action type game.
Yeah, but like me playing Final Fantasy 7 remake and not remaster but remake because there's been a remaster on every major home console.
No, I can tell you which games have been remastered, and that would be the that would technically be the Crash Bandicoot games and the Spyro trilogy.
Yes.
Spyro
No,
Reignited.
I mean when I mean remaster, like the actual title says remastered on the store.
Yeah.
Because like you can, if you went onto the PlayStation 3 store, you would see Final Fantasy 7 remaster, but it's just a touch up of graphics, like a little
Yep.
bit, like textures and stuff.
You can even get that version on the PC right now through Steam.
Exactly, you can. You can get that. It's also on the PS4 that you can get a remaster, but it's the same thing as it was on the PS3. This is a remake, and that's the difference. Because like they're remaking the original Resident Evil games too, and those are also remakes.
Well, there's three types here. There's remakes, remasters, and reimaginings.
Right.
Remakes is basically they're making the game over again. It's kind of in the same as a reimagining, but it they're remaking it updating the graphics, updating the gameplay, changing the engine, basically what you would consider like the Crash Bandicoot games and the Spyro games.
Right, where it's even though it's the same story and same everything, the voice acting has changed, the graphics are radically different. The game runs at 60 FPS instead of like 24 FPS.
Yep, and it's using new engine, it's new everything.
Exactly.
Re- uh,
Yes, that's like a remake. That's like a
mm-hmm.
proper remake.
Yeah, my brain is farting.
You're about to say remaster.
Thank you. Remaster is more like something where they literally just take the old game and then they update the graphics. And then they just re-release it. They don't change anything about it. And those are actually harder to find because there's not like the BioShock games.
Right.
Those are remastered. They remastered those. Those because they're on PC, we can just update the graphics. That's basically what they did. Same with the Borderlands games, like Borderlands Game of the Year edition, like they came out with a remastered version. It's the same exact game. They did port it over to a new engine, but literally all they did was go, here's the new graphics.
Right.
That's it. Because they did the exact same thing with Borderlands 2, where they basically said, here's the new graphics, but it's the exact same game. A reimagining is more like what Final Fantasy VII and the new Resident Evil games are doing. They're reimagining the old game. They're taking the exact same story, but they're going, and we can change this gameplay up a little bit. And that's what they're kind of doing.
Right. Well, reimagining is more like a modernization. Or sorry, reimagining is a modernization versus remastering, which is just a touch up, more or less.
Yeah, a remaster is more just like a touch up. It's like we're just gonna make it look really good and then resell it. It's not really that different, but it gets the job done. But I also go, well, if I have the original game, why would I want the remastered version?
Exactly.
It's one of those things where it's like, hey, I would prefer a remake, like what they did with Crash Bandicoot and with what they did with Spyro and what they're currently doing with Tony Hawk.
Right.
These are actually the same guys who did the Crash Bandicoot remakes.
Oh.
That are making them, yeah. And they're taking original code, just like they did for the Crash Bandicoot games. Like, thing about game development. There's two different things. There's the game engine, and then you have the scripts that help run the game. What they're doing is they're taking the scripts, which are basically what tell the game what to do and how to do it, and they're putting those into the new thing. So
right.
But from what I've heard for the Tony Hawk remakes, they're going in and trying to get the physics almost exactly the same. So that way it feels the exact same as when we originally played it.
Same feel, better look.
Yeah. Some people would say, wouldn't that classify as a
master?
Master? Or it's like, kind of, but they are remaking everything else. Like they're remaking the graphics, they're using it in a new engine. Yes, they're taking the old scripts, but they're not using every single one of the old scripts. They have to remake a lot still.
They do. And
it's more or less just for the controls and just for the physics, and that's it. That's the only thing that they're wanting to do.
Right, and that's more on the engine side of things, though, than it is on the actual game logic side. So they can copy and paste over a lot of stuff. They can basically Silicon Knights it.
Yeah, they can. That's a different thing.
Okay, true.
That's copyright. That's copyright infringement, and for what Silicon Knights did.
No. I mean, it's the same general concept.
That's a topic. Though. Yeah, that's a topic for another day too.
Yes, 100%.
And yeah, and a reimagining is literally going. We're just going to take this story, and we're going to just reimagine this game. we have it. We're going to make a brand new game. We're going to still keep it as an RPG or whatever genre it is, but we're going to modernize it. We're going to make it look cool. Same thing happened with the the Resident Evil 1 and 2, I think, and 3.
Yep, so we're up to 3 at the time of this recording.
Yeah. So, which is all good. Good. I never played the Resident Evil games, mainly because I'm not a horror fan, but that's just me.
Right. See, I played Resident Evil 7.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to lie, I may have pooped myself a little bit at times.
Is that the walking sim one?
Basically, that's the one where you're like you go into a house in the woods because your
That's
girlfriend
the
is
one
missing. Yeah, no, I
No,
made the
that
mistake
one,
of
I'm
playing
like, that was
VR
a-
with that. That's not a
that
remake
one-
though. That's just another installment of it.
I know, but I have my own thing about sequels and how they need to change things when they make sequels. And this was like, I don't care. I like watching this, even though it's a horror genre kind of thing. It's it's kind of neat to see this in first person. See this kind of like take the walking sim type horror games that have been coming out, and giving it the Resident Evil style. Like just adding that to it. It's like that really works, and it really makes this thing scary because with that they're able to basically force you to look at something, and force you to look at the horror.
Exactly.
Which is
you can't you can't look away. You can't like close your eyes and like shy your head and like put your hands up because you're dead.
yeah, it's one of those things where they knew what to do. But when it comes to remakes, I love the idea. They just have to do it right because otherwise you could end up with a Tony Hawk Pro Skater HD, where it's just which is a remaster, but not even a good remaster because they didn't. They're like, why don't you just remaster the first game? Oh, we don't have all of the licenses for all the music. Well, why aren't you remastering all the levels? Everybody will love them. No, we're not going to do that.
Yeah. One thing I'm happy
Thanks,
with.
Activision.
One thing I'm really happy with Tony Hawk remake. They're bringing back Superman.
Yep. They actually got me to my favorites. One of my favorite songs from that is just going down school too, and I listening to Power Man 5000.
I don't remember that one.
What? Yeah, When Worlds Collide.
I'm sure if I heard it, I'd be like, oh.
Right. So, now this is what it's like when worlds collide.
That actually,
It's
like you're right at the tip of my brain.
I'll send you it later.
Yeah, send it to me later. I'm sure I'm gonna hear it and be like, oh yeah, that.
Yeah, you'll remember it later. It's a good song, and I'm like, hey, what song is that? Where did I hear it from? Right, Tony Hawk. But you also, but yeah, there's also like if I really want to consider like reimaginings, you can kind of go with the Super Mario games even. They've been reimagined over and over and over
That's
and
true,
over and over
they
again
have.
to the point where they stop numbering them.
Super Mario, enjoy, guys. Here you go.
Yeah, until they got to Super Mario 64, and then I don't know how did they make so many games, guys? Come on.
Super Mario 64 was a masterpiece, though.
Yep, and then they remade that game.
Oh, did they actually?
Yeah, Super Mario 64 DS.
Well,
you never play? You never heard of that?
No.
Oh, it was one of the biggest talks in the playground when it came out. I'm not kidding. Like everybody would crowd around this one guy who had the original Nintendo DS, plugged it in. It's like, man, we really want to play that too. I still have the cartridge too.
Do you?
Yeah, it's with my 3DS because it's backwards compatibility.
Right. See, okay. We're talking about backwards compatibility. 3DS mastered it.
Yeah, 3DS. Well, this is what I like about Nintendo. So, even though they're not able to do their home consoles as backwards compatibility, their portable consoles have always had some sort of backwards compatibility.
Well, see, here's the thing, though. it's because they kept the same cartridge reader for a couple generations. Because like you could play Game Boy Color games on Game Boy Advanced, because it was the only thing they did was just because they could do better stuff with the technology, like how USBs have gone down in size over the years. It's the exact same thing.
Yeah, it's one of those where they were able to compact it to a point, but it was more of a technology jump every single time. And the problem was when they got to the DS. The DS, you could still play Game Boy games. You could still play Game Boy Advance games. But when they released the Nintendo DS Lite, you could no longer play original Game Boy games on it. You could still play a DS game or regular GBA games, but you could not play a Game Boy or Game Boy Color games. And also on a note, the Game Boy Color is literally just, we're gonna add color to the Game Boy game.
I know. So really, there's like a good 3 generations.
Yeah, because I think it is possible where you could still play like Game Boy Color games, like certain ones where it has where they're indented instead of like bulging out.
Right.
Like there's 2 different types of Game Boy Color cartridges, and the reason why I say this is because the original, because Pokemon Yellow is technically a Game Boy Color game.
Right.
But you could still play it on the original Game Boy. And the only reason you can tell the difference between in a game cartridge for a Game Boy Color cartridge that can play only on a Game Boy Color and ones that can play on a Game Boy are the indents on the cartridge.
Like that little like thumb grip kind of area?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. If it was convex, so basically outwards, that's Game Boy Color only. If it was concave, so it was.
But if it's got like a little curve like this at the top of the cartridge, it was Game Boy.
Yeah, if it was inward facing, that's Game Boy and Game Boy Color.
But otherwise, it's
outward facing.
It's just Game Boy Color if it's outward facing. You know, I kind of thought I knew that kind of stuff, but I guess I didn't.
I know a little bit too much about games.
You do. I mean, look, so do I, but like, you also had an education in video games.
Exactly.
That's the difference. And I think for there, guys, we're gonna end off the first episode. I think we've covered...
we didn't even cover the multiplayer and stuff.
No, that's gonna be the next episode.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. But so, guys, thank you very much for stopping by. I'm Zach.
I'm another gamer, also known as Indy.
You guys can follow us on our socials. It's just another gamer for you anywhere, right?
Another Gamer 1, actually, because another gamer has been taken, and I'm just another gamer.
Perfect.
I'm just another gamer. That's the way I've always liked to put it.
You guys can check me on socials at The Zyclepath. That's TheZichAelPath on Twitter, Instagram, anything else you need.
Yeah, I'm another gamer 1 on Twitter. Technically, you can find me on Facebook, but I haven't set up that page yet fully. And also on Instagram, same thing. I think it might be another gamer on that, but I don't know. This could be another gamer 1. I haven't checked it in a while.
We can always update socials next episode anyways.
Yeah, we can.
All right. With that being said, guys, take care.
Have a good night.